So in the first part of this tutorial, we have built together a task list. In this part here, the last part, part 2, I will be showing you how to build a Kanban board based on that task list. That task list can be used separately, independently, but this is a nice add-on to have the tasks split into boards. It is tricky. There are some formulas, I have to be honest with you. So I have this time built a simple aid, a simple cheat sheet for you where you can step by step follow what I have done. And you even have the formulas and some diagrams in it. If you are interested, just put it in comments. If there is enough people wanting it, I will make the PDF available for you to download. Okay, to start with, I'm just going to highlight the changes since the last video. I said this is part 2 of a 2-part videos to build this Kanban board. So it's quite complex. So for that reason also, I will just walk you through the formulas. And something new this time, I have created a cheat sheet, something that you can refer to. Just let me know in comments if you're interested in having it. I will make the PDF available. The formulas can be quite tricky, so it will be too hard for me just to type them and walk you through the change. It'll be much clearer if I focus on just walking through my chances here. So if you start off from the task list that we've built before, this is where we were more or less, but you can otherwise build it now. If you haven't done part 1, this is perfectly fine. This is actually not mandatory, because we'll be also retrieving the photos in a Kanban board. Now, I've changed a couple of things from the initial task list. First, I've changed the urgent one, and I've put a checkbox instead, so this way it will be much faster for you to do this. And I've added another column, show on board. So you could have a task here that you don't want to show on board. Like for instance, the completed one, you might not want to have them on board as well on the Kanban board, because otherwise you'll have too many completed ones on the board. So you can just untick the show on board when you don't want them here. I've done some basic conditional formatting for this. I'm just going to show you how. First of all, these checkboxes, as I mentioned last time, they are characters. So we need to change the font if we want to have that on a different color than the other checkboxes. And the font that I'm using is the orangey one here. How do they call it? Orange. They call it orange. And I'm using the before last color here for the font. Now, I want, when it's ticked, I wanted to change the background. So for this, it's a very simple conditional formatting. You select the cells, you go to conditional formatting, you create a new rule, and then you have this rule here. When the cell value, format only cell that contain, when the cell value equal to true, when a box is ticked, it's true, and then you format it, and then you take the same orange, but the lighter color. So this will allow you to have this changing the background like this. So before I move on, I just want to mention, if you don't have Excel 365, in other words, if you go under Insert and you don't have this option here, checkbox, that probably means you don't have checkboxes. So you can use YN instead, yes or no instead. And every time you see me testing this cell with if this cell is true, then do that. You would have to change the formula with if this cell is equal to yes, then do that. So true and yes as a false and no. So that's the only change you need to do. Now something else. Okay, so this is done. Something else that I've done last time, I was saying, you can tick boxes as you progress, and you can still do it here, but the challenge with the board is you don't want to have the same task on 4 different boards. So you need to choose. You need to have it only on one. This will let you have tasks on several boards if you want to, but I don't think this is very clear. That defeats a little bit the purpose of boards. So I'm still leaving you the possibility to have several box ticked here, depending on the status, but I will highlight them in red. As soon as there's more than one, I highlight it in red. So when a box is completed, you need to make sure that you untick this. So as you progress into a box, you just click this one. After you unclick from pipeline to do, then from to do to progress, etc. So this is how you will be doing it. So another change that I've done to this board is I've added the total here. So this way that gives you an idea of how many pipeline to do, in progress, completed, and on hold. And the way I've done that is I've done a COUNTIF. I'm doing the COUNTIF of all these, and I'm checking how many are true. COUNTIF, select all the column, how many are true. And if you have, I'm not going to say that every time, but I'm just going to say this one last time, is if you have an old version of Excel, you would have to do COUNTIF 𝙎𝙼𝙤𝙤 in my case, and the condition will not be true, will be equal to yes. So that's something that we need to do. Okay, so here you have your task list, you're ready. So let's move on to the next change. What I've done here is I've calculated how many boxes are ticked. So this will be used for the conditional formatting here. So I'm doing a COUNTIF again for these 5 cells. I'm not counting the urgent and show on board. I'm just counting the 5 cells of the status. And I'm doing a very simple COUNTIF of all these, how many are true. And see here there's 0, and when I tick 1, there is 1. And when I tick another one, there is 2. So this is what we don't want. So when this is the case, we need to do 2 things. I'm just showing a quick message here. That's something you can do as well. If this cell here on the right, so this is all very simple for the moment. If this cell here on the right is greater than 1, I want to put a message here. If O8 here is greater than 1, I want to put this message. Tick only one status box, otherwise I'll leave it blank. So if I untick 1, this error message goes away. Same for conditional formatting. For conditional formatting, you go in a conditional formatting, you create a new rule, and the rule that you will have is there's 2 conditions. There is if you have this box ticked, and in order to do this, you don't want any dollar value. So if you have the I8, in my case, equal to true, so we only want to apply this change to the box that are ticked. And then with locking the column, $O8, which is this cell here, if this is greater than 1, then you want to highlight it in red. So we want to check the cell itself, so here there's no dollars. But for that one, we need to lock the column because this is always the same column that we'll be referring to. And what do? We go under font, and then we select a red font. In my case, you might find that a bit too aggressive. You might want to select a different color, but that's the way I've done it. So that's it. So we've done this, and we have done that. So the next step is I've created 5 other columns here. And each one of these columns will have the status. So this is the 5 status that are copying back. So this cell, you remove this. This cell here refers back to that one, and etc. So just this one refers to this. So if you want to change the status, you would have to change it here, and that will follow up here. I'm counting here, appending a number after the status when the task is to be shown on the board on that status column here, on the pipeline. So here you have pipeline 1, pipeline 2, because they are ticked. And here I don't have pipeline 3 for this, because there's no sign of show on board. So if I click show on board, I have it here. If I put another pipeline here, click, it's not shown on board, but if I put show on board, it comes here. So this will be very useful when we build a Kanban board. So now the formula. So I actually hesitated to walking you through this because the formulas now are quite complicated. But as mentioned, you can have the copy of these formulas if you want to in a PDF. I can have a cheat sheet, or I can put some in the description. If you put it in comments, I'm happy to show you that. So in this formula, I first check if tasks are to be shown on the board and if that the status is ticked. So This is what it is doing here. This is the first step. Then I just concatenate the status with what should be the sequence number of that task. So there's two conditions here for the COUNTIF. The first one is has to be on show on board colon. So I need to check that again because it's a COUNTIF. So, and for this, it's very important when the dollar signs are. We log the show on board colon because you always refer to that colon here. This doesn't change. The others change, but for this one doesn't change. So make sure that you log this. And for the counting the status, we log the starting point of the counting range. So this is maybe the most complicated formula, although there's another one quite complicated as well coming up, but don't want to overwhelm you. But this is how we do it. We log the first row to make sure that we only count up until the point where we are. For instance, here in pipeline, we only count how many ticks are here. And if you want to go here, you count only from the first line. So once again, this formula, you need to really have a look at it, pause, have a good look at it. This makes the building of the Kanban board very easy. It's worth it to have a complicated formula sometimes. Now, next I want to name some ranges. Now we talked about naming cells and ranges last time, but this time I would really want to name ranges so it's much easier for you moving forward. So the number that I have in blue here in italic are the name of those ranges here. So here, for instance, the task, this is all this. It's called task. So if you go down, all the way down, and you go on this cell here, this top cell, you can also use Control F3 or Command F3, I think, on Apple to name the range, but I find it easier to select it all, and then you put the name of the range here, so task here. And I've done that for several columns, so I suggest you do the same. Make sure they all have the same length, of course. This one, I call it task resource. Just select everything, task resource here. This one, I call it category. And this one, I call it urgent. So the others, you don't need to name them for the time being. So you name those 4 columns, or those 4 ranges. And here, I'll be naming those 5 ranges, status 1, status 2, status 3, status 4, and you guessed it, status 5. So this is something that will make it also very easy. So once you've done, apply this formula on one, it's just a matter of dragging it because I've put the dollar value where they need to be. So therefore it's much easier. You can just drag it and copy it all across those 5 things here, as long as you have duplicated this properly. So here, for instance, instead of having completed on the left-hand side, I put done like this. So this changes here. So this is all automated. Now, this is how we build a Kanban board. So we have 3 columns and 7 rows, like I'm doing here. This is how you would build it. I'm just going to put some borders. You don't need to put borders, but I'm just putting them for training purpose, if you like. I have one very small on the left. I have the large one in the center, and one maybe a little bit smaller here on the right-hand side. Okay, so once this is done, we have to do some merging to do. So merge and center, it's here. So I'm just selecting those 7 here, and I'm merge and center them. So this is where we will be putting the color of the category. This will be where we'll be putting the category, as I'm showing it here. And here we'll be merging some. We'll be merging those 4 cells here, merge and center here. Actually, we can do that later, but we can align left here. Those 2 is where we will be putting the picture, the photo. So here I just want to merge 2. And then all the rest can stay this way here. And then just the last one, this is where we'll be putting urgent, not urgent, and we want to merge those. So this is what your board should look like. Once this is done, we just need to input all this with formula and copy and paste it more or less. So now I'm just going to go back to the main Kanban so I can continue the walking you through. So this is the final version. This is what it would look like if you apply the formulas. Before we move on with the formulas that I've used in those, I've put numbers here. And this seems like a repetition, but that will make everything much easier moving forward. I will allow you to copy a box down and without having to change any formula, because it will always refer to this number here on the left. You will see as we build the formulas, but this is something that I would really advise you to do. Otherwise, every board you need to change the formulas. So here I just need to go back here. So +1. Okay. So whatever your method is, you need to have some numbers here that goes as far as you want. Here I have copied only 5, 6, let's say 7. You can have 10. It's up to you. I'm just going to stick to 3, 4 here for you, just to show you how it works. Now, something else that I didn't mention here is that we also need a room for the status. So a little bit above, what we'll be doing is merging those 3 here. So we'll be having one merge 3 cells here a little bit above as I have it here. So if you want to follow the same formula as I have, this goes from J to I. And you start on the row 3. And if for this first Kanban board, you start on row 5. So we have a G5 here as a starting point. And this will be on column D, the numbers. So you have all this. Do only one for the time being. I'm not gonna tempt you to do them all first, so just do one. Okay, so I forgot a little bit, but it doesn't matter. This is the model, by the way, that I've taken from the internet. No, I don't need to show that. Okay. So, by the way, I'm just going to hide all this. So here, this cell here, what I'm doing is I'm just referring back to the task list again. We go, hopefully from this one here, the pipeline here, and we take the first status. Here you refer to the first status. Okay, now don't worry about the colors for the time being. You can leave everything gray. The colors will be done by conditional formatting. Don't try and put the square white for the time being. So let's have a look at the first cell that we retrieve. So the first formula, this is the one that we need to use. We need to make sure that we are locking the top here, but we let this one slide, and that was the whole idea between this 1, 2, 3. You can slide all this, and that will always look on the left to check which number we're at. And in this case, it's number 1. So we'll be concatenating here pipeline and this number here, pipeline 1, and we'll be looking in status 1, which is this. And we will be bringing back the category on the same line. And here we'll be bringing back a category that we named here as marketing green. So this is what we'll be doing here. So if you understand this, you'll understand all the formulas. Same principle. We do an X lookup using the status plus the appending number here. And we looked in the appropriate column. And then we look at the task or the category or the picture or the resource name in the same column. Same here, we just append pipeline 1, but this time we look into the task, which is this one. So here we'll be retrieving the task description. Done, easy. In this one here, so this is, we are in this cell here, just the name. I am doing the same thing. Pipeline 1, I'm looking into status 1, and I'm bringing back the resource name here now from the task resource here. And here I'm just retrieving it as well. I'm retrieving the flag, urgent, true or false, and by doing this X lookup that we've seen before. But the difference here, I'm doing an if. You know, if this is urgent, then I write this. So you can write whatever you like, but that's what I've decided to write. Urgent. And if we don't find anything, just put blank. Make sure that every time in every formula, you have this, if you don't find anything, put blank here with double brackets there, with nothing in them. So this is it. There is only one thing to retrieve, is the picture. So this one, it's the same principle here, and actually I didn't walk you through the names here in the resource. In a resource, I have two cells here that two columns here that I've named. Resource list is this, and resource peak is this, which is a cell name. So I don't want to walk you through this again. Have a look in my previous video, but this is really the name of the picture here. They all have this name here. So this is what we're doing. We're retrieving the name here, and we're looking for the name. And we're retrieving the name that we have here, which is this. We'll be retrieving this. In other words, XLOOKUP in resource list, and we bring back the resource peak, which is not the picture itself, which is the name of the cell that has the picture. That's something that is very important, guys. And I've mentioned that last time. I insisted on this. Indirect is the trick that allows you to retrieve the content of a named cell. Not the value of a name cell, the content. And what is in this cell? It's a picture. Now, I'm not doing that to make it more complicated for you guys, but I've added an if error here. So this is to say that if there is an error, I'm just going to put blank here. Because when you don't have a picture or when something goes wrong here, if it doesn't find the resource, it's going to mess up your board. So just put an if error, which is a catch-all type of function in Excel. So this is it. It's very important that you do this very well, one very well, because we will be after copying and paste. So take time, test it, retest it, go here, remove the urgent flag, check if it works. Yes, it's been removed. Check that, yeah, when you change resource, it works. When you put Lydia, it brings Lydia back. Do all this testing, please, before we move on to the next box. So now we have to do some conditional formatting. First thing that we want to do is the category color. We already had a category color here, so I can walk you through quite quickly on this. What we want to do is, and I've done something extremely fancy for Excel here, I put the fill effect instead of putting the green color. I like it. I think it's a little bit more interesting. So how did I do this? Okay, if you missed the previous episode, I've named all those categories here that was in the previous video. This one I've called it blue, red, green, yellow, and purple here. So all these have been named. And when I go under this category, these merge cells here, I'm just doing a conditional formatting. And you create a new rule and you use the formula. And the formula is you check what is name category here. And if it's red, you put the red. If it's green, you put green. And because this is the name of the cell is green, is the category that is green. Now, how did I put the gradients? Something interesting in Excel, it doesn't let you directly put gradient. You have to use conditional formatting, but when you're under conditional formatting, instead of selecting a hard color here, you go under fill effect. And here you choose two colors. So for the red, I've selected a pale red. And how did I create this pale red? So first of all, I take the standard color red here. And after I go back under it, I go under more colors. And either I select a lighter red here, or I do in a custom, and I make sure I slide this up until, I think in Apple, you might have that, if you're part of the Apple cult, you might not be able to do this the same way, but I'm sure you can do it as well. So you just need to find a red that is not too strong here. And then on the other color, you put an even lighter red here. Okay, so this is how you do them all. And you here for the yellow, what I call yellow is actually the orange here. I've taken the standard color orange here. And same thing, I want to effect the standard here. And then I take use the slider to have a lighter color here. For green fill effect, I take the third one from the top here. And then, this one's actually, this is a lighter. And this one, if you don't have it in the right order, I like to have the dark on top and the light at the bottom. You can play around with horizontal here. You can select some of those if you want it the other way around. I only have, I'm just showing you everything, but the purple here, it is fill effect. It is the one at the top. And here it's it should be the one, this one here. I don't know why it doesn't show it to me, the first one here. And then we have only one left, is the blue. And for the blue format, fill effect, the one at the top is the one at the top here. And the one at the bottom here, it's a lighter of the reds. So here for this cell here, I'm just referring to the category here. If it's called the blue category, I put blue, you've got the message. Now the last conditional formatting that we've done, it's to put this in white when there is something in this. So the easiest way that I found is to once again use the X lookup here. So looking the X lookup, I'm looking if there is a task, something in the task description, and if there is, I'm doing a formatting, conditional formatting with fill it with white. So this is the formula that I'm using, same principle, using pipeline plus one, status one, and task. So the advantage of doing this, is that I will be able to change this, copy that to the next cell with a minimum change. And this is what I've been mentioning before. So here you should have a very well working cell. And once you finished one, come back here and we'll see how we can copy and with a minimal change, and I'll walk you through the change that you need to do. So if you have done that, let's say you come back and you have done one like this perfectly. What you do is, first of all, you need to do another status here. So you merge the next three cells, you leave one in between, and you bring back, this is not what I wanted to do. I just needed to bring back the second here. Actually, I can show you now. You just bring it back here. And what we'll be doing is you take this, and we'll have to do that only 5 times. And after it should work you can bring it down as often as you like. All right, so I've copied everything, and now we just need to tweak it with changing a couple of things. So everywhere you see status 1 in this, you need to change to status 2, because this is the new column here. So you have status 1, status 1, status 1. Let's have a look here, status 1, here, urgent. Okay, so I'm just going to do it all at once. I'm going to do a Control F. I'm going to replace status 1 with status 2. Now this is the lazy way, but if I do replace all, if you do replace all, make sure that you only select those cells. And do replace all, you should only find 4. All done, we made 4 replacements. And that's it, it's done it. Now, as far as conditional formatting, you can notice that is done the red, is brought back the red. That's because in a conditional formatting for this, we are just checking the cell that is nearby. So that works. But for the white, it won't work because we're still checking here. So let's say if you had nothing here, it would keep it gray. So we need to go back to the conditional formatting for this. And we need to click here on X lookup. And we need to change status 1 to status 2. Copy the, yes, you need to change the G to the K here. That's the only change you need to do. You need to make sure you refer to the same heading of phase 2 here, okay, of status 2, okay. So I'm going to do it for the next one so it'll be clearer for you. So here, once again, I need to refer back to the cell here in progress. I'm going to do completed here. Which should be done now, and on hold, which should be the last one here. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to take this, copy, and I'm going to go there. Obviously, I've formatted also all those cells already. I'm going to paste it. Nothing happens. I'm going to do the Control F I'm going to change status 2 this time, because I've taken the one on the left to status 3, and I should have 4 replacements done. And I need to go to conditional formatting, select all this conditional formatting, and I need to change the X lookup here to put status 3. And then I will be looking from the O colon. I'm going to apply the changes. Okay, so it's all gray. Let's say I have nothing in progress. Let's put something in progress. In progress. Yeah, and now we're going to remove the pipeline. I'm putting in progress. And there's marketing green. Seems to be working. And don't forget, and so I don't know if I mentioned it, this cell here, don't forget to put the font itself in a red or something like this, because there is no really conditional formatting here. You either have nothing or you have text, and when you have text, you need to have the red here. So here, for instance, if I put this one as urgent, it shows it in the color that I've selected. So this is it. Do it for the others. Copy, paste, and actually I'm going to paste them both. Paste. Okay. The change I need to do, I need to change 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Replace all 4 times. Perfect. And I'm going to go into conditional formatting. I'm going to change the heading. The heading from O to S. And then the status from 3 to 4. Okay. The same. Control F, status. Should be status 3. I can't remember which one I took. Status 3, yes. 3 to 5. Conditional formatting. I change the S to W, or the O to W here. And I put status 5. And I apply. Okay. Now, let's check if that works. Task list, task list, task list. Okay, I'm just going to clear that up. I'm going to put one in each to do some testing neatly this way. I'm going to remove this. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Green, blue, red, green, green. Green, blue, red, green, green. So here I've just put some light, different shades there. So this is it. This is done. This is now all the hard work you've done with locking the cells, with making sure that you leave the dollars right in front of the column when needed and from the row when needed. All this hard work now it can pay off, because you just have to copy this, and it just work automatically. If it doesn't, that's the end of the end of the video. Suppose you copy and paste all this, and let's see if we add more. Talk. Show on board, of course, plenty show on board. Let's have a look. Kanban, it's got plenty here. Beautiful. Talk. All right, we have 2 on hold. I have 3 here, but one must be no show. We have 2 done. One is no show. 2 on hold, 2 done. Okay, everything seems to be working okay. Now, obviously, you want to hide this. You hide this. People don't need to see it. Here you can, if you want to change the picture or change the name, you can do it, and it will work as well. We have all the colors here. Kanban board works here. Here, if you click 2, you have things in red with the error here. This box ticked, you don't really need this. You can put the data group and you can hide it as well. Oops, didn't want to hide everything here. Data and group, and you just want to group this one here. Okay. This, they don't need to see it as well if you give this to someone. The error here, that's you might not want to have it at all showing, or if you have it very discreetly, I suppose. If you change the first one, was it? We have Lydia here. If we change Lydia to Betty, Kanban, Betty, change here as well. Category green, we put it yellow, yellow, Kanban, yellow. Wow, it works. What have you done, Ben? It works. And here you can go as deep as you like, as deep as you like. And this is the advantage of, you can use it recurring. And when you have too many done, as I said, after, hopefully, after a while, you'll have plenty of done. And yeah, when you have plenty of done, then you can start removing them from the show on board here. Just untick it, show on board, untick it. Okay. Well, yes, so guys, apologies. I wanted to really walk you through this, but after I realized it'd be just too complicated to walk you through all this. I mean, to build it in front of you with just all those formulas, and it was prone to me making mistakes. And so here you can be sure that the formulas that I have there are working. They are good. They are actually, as we've demonstrated, they seem to be working okay. I have the cheat sheet here, if you like, where I walk through which color I use and which formula, each formula. Obviously, if you want to use the formula, make sure that you have the same starting point that I have here. The G here, finishing on the Y, and here the same named ranges here. But yeah, I think this is quite powerful, so I think it's worth a little bit of effort. All the software that you see these days, I all have this fancy pictures retrieving, so that make them look very fancy. I don't know how many people are actually using it, but you can say now you can use it. So I wish you all the best with this, and I hope you have fun building it. And I have also 3 or 4 different Kanban boards on my channel. So if you're interested, just have a look at those. Wish you all the best.